Good morning, traders. Captain Jim James here with your daily brief. Hope you all did very well yesterday. I hope some of you bears didn't buy puts until the close. I know a lot of you were itching to buy them early in the day. So if you did buy puts into close, we'll talk about those and how to play those as we move on this morning into the opening bell at 9:30. I do want to briefly point out that I post a daily brief on Twitter each morning as a companion piece to the video, which talks about my game plan for the day. Today, on the economic calendar, we have non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rate. Everyone's been waiting for these numbers all week long. It would be hilarious if they were a non-event today and we just continued on our merry way sideways waiting for Monday. I do expect some volatility this morning from now until 8:30, possibly even 9:30. The banks can spin these numbers any way that they want. We've seen that time and again. If they say that if the numbers are high, the economy could be stronger. If the numbers are low, that could mean that they're not going to start tapering. Now, if they don't taper, that means we're getting more QE, which means stocks go up, right? If the economy is getting stronger, they might just do a sympathy push to move this market up. So what I would do is pay attention to the reaction on the tape this morning and not so much to what FinTwit is saying or how CNBC reacts. I tend to put the blinders on when these numbers come out. I pay close attention to what's happening on a 1-minute time frame in whatever stock or ETF that I'm in. Now, when these banks are positioning and when these numbers come out, sometimes the initial reaction will be for the stock to briefly go up or briefly go down. And the knee-jerk reaction is, hey, it's going down. That means I should go short. But that's usually a fishing maneuver to get better positioning to move up or down. So be conscious of that in your trading this morning. We're going to move on to the ES. And as I've been saying, this is not the time to be long in the ES. It's not the prudent thing to do, as we are at the top of an established and respected trend line since September 2020. Now, you will also note that in August 2020, we traded above and out of our normal trading range. So this is of some concern to bears that we could make this jump today and trade higher. Taking a closer look on the ES chart, you can see that earlier in the week, see this white line right here, this white resistance line was forming up over time, and this line was forming up earlier in the week. This has kind of put us into this zone here where yesterday we broke up and above yesterday and landed on top of this resistance. Now we've made 3 taps, and this is the 4th tap to get up above this resistance line. That is saying that the market does want to go up, even though we are in a risk-off environment in ES, and this was significant yesterday for us to make this jump above. And we're going to look at our day trading chart and see what kind of insights the ES lends to the cash market. As you can see here, I'm going to bring this chart slightly, let's bring it right here. You can see as the week has progressed, it's been quite simple to figure out where you should be short and where you should be long in this market. A lot of the plays have been in the after hours. Same went for yesterday. Into the closing bell, we hit all-time highs again. I think this was all-time highs, 44.185. And I think some of you grabbed puts on this bell right here and not down here, which a lot of people were expecting to go short down here. This was the better position to take. And as we come into the open today, let's talk about this briefly. If you are a bull, you are most definitely looking for 441.92 to be bullish. And as a bear, you're looking for anything below this 440.80 to be bearish. Now, it's still within this context this morning. If we are bullish, we could dip down to make this run up. And if we are bearish, we could bump up to come down. This is an opportunity for banks to get short at a better price and for longs to get a better price to go up. So earlier in the week, I made a post about thinking in 2s and 3s. You are looking for, let's say we get bullish and we come down here, you're going to look for bears to want to take a tap to go down, and they'll make 1, 2, and maybe 3 attempts. In that 3rd attempt, if it sticks and doesn't break, that is where you want to start to consider making entry as we go up. If you're a bear, that would be the same thing would be for you as well. Even no matter what the news is at 8:30 this morning, If we immediately come up here and don't gap up, and we make 1, 2, and 3 taps and don't move up, you are going to look to start taking a short position as we head down this way here. Now, if you bought puts into close yesterday up in here, my recommendation on FDs is always to take the money and run. So if you get a chance, let's say we come to this opening bell over here, you are going to be somewhere in profit 20-30%. Now, if we open the bell here but dip down, you can take your profit as well. If the news is bearish, we might scream higher and you would hold through all the way down here. So there are different methods to how you play these FD puts that you get and how you sell them. And the same goes for bulls. If you were a bull yesterday and grabbed this down here and held this into the close and are expecting this to go up, if we do a quick dip down here, you may want to hold tight until we come back up. It is not unusual for us to make violent moves at the open up and down here. So be prepared to sell your FDs either at this 441.88 or down below here at this 440.84. You can always re-enter your calls or puts to ride the rest of the day out. The point and the key in FDs is that they often don't go in the way that you want them to. So I tend to, not always, but I do tend to sell my FDs right at the open. So buyer beware. Moving on to NQ. Look at that sexy, beautiful thing here, huh? I wanted to bring up the NQ Mini so that you can see the drastic moves that we've made. Now, I think this is on auto, so I haven't made any adjustments to this. This big line right here, I dropped in here a few months ago, I think, to give some idea as to some major support if we ever come down from here. I'm just going to scroll this out a little bit for you, and you can see that we messed around in this area on NQ. And this would be, for me, some form of black swan event. This is how far we're coming down, the deepest. One other neat thing about this chart is, even in March 2020, we didn't go as far down as this trend line that was established way back in the mid to late 2000s, 2010 to 2018. I thought that was neat as well. So we're going to take a look at a closer chart on NQ to put into a little bit more realistic scope here. 15,135 is where I'm expecting we're going to find some sort of support this morning, and I am looking for us to trade higher to 15,200 and 15,273. Now, it is always possible that we could hit this upper resistance somewhere around 15,306. If we have bad news this morning and we break through this 15,135, we talked earlier in the week, we don't want to be breaking 15,008. If we do, this is kind of like a point of no return down here. You're going to start pulling targets down here. I think it's 14,600 is the next major one. So this is kind of like a sell the market kind of a deal down here, though I don't see that happening today or Monday. Onto the IWM, I just want to point out on a larger time frame, Derek Courtnoy yesterday pointed this support line out, and we do use these lines in our research for when to start considering making entries into the rut, into IWM, the small caps. The tops aren't as consistent to play in these, so I do play these on a smaller chart over the course of a month or a daily or a weekly. We'll get into that chart right now, but this is a neat little chart right here that he pointed out yesterday. And moving on to a smaller time frame, as you know from the past in the daily briefs and these videos, when we adjust these lines, as we adjust these support and resistance lines as time moves forward, but again, we play all these jumps here. And the most recent one was yesterday in the daily brief. I talked about how I was tracking this IWM here, and some equity volume and call option volume had come in. And so we played this yesterday, and we did very well in this play. And we've been talking about how bullish we are up to around 226. I believe it's 226.65 or something for the rest of the week. Today, as long as the news is good, I'm looking for 219.90 or 219.92, some form of a bounce, and I move up to test 225.28 and possibly 228.90 or 26. Now, if the bearish case, you're looking for a break below this 219.89 and maybe further confirmation down to this 216.76, and then for a move down below to 211.18. This is really where we're at in the market right now, is a big move up or a big move down. Moving on to Tesla, everything looks beautiful. Same chart as we've had up. There is a little bit of a development here in Tesla that I want to get into on a smaller time frame. Yesterday I posted, I think right around this area here, I felt as though we were bearish into the close on a small time frame. Now, the thing that you want to be looking at is that we've touched this 720 right in here. We've touched right around here a few times this week, 4 times this week already. Touched it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and we did again yesterday. This is telling me that this structure here that does somewhat look bearish overall is not. And I'm pointing that out yesterday that was bearish on a smaller time frame. I do think that today all signs are pointing towards the IWM coming up. I think that those numbers are going to say that the economy is slightly improving. I think you're going to find that you'll a mixed bag of numbers, and that the message is going to be that the economy is improving. And then what came out yesterday with Elon Musk not being invited to the White House because of the unions, I think is just FUD. I think that oftentimes you have to trade the ticker, and specifically Tesla, and not what the news is telling you. That it's inaccurate, does not want you to know what's actually taking place. So for today on Tesla, if there is any dip here in Tesla, I will be buying that dip for a run up. If there is a straight gap up today, I'm looking for 730. Let's see if I can get this chart to move a little bit here. Let me hold on here. Get that right there for you. Today, I'm looking for 720, let's say, call it 729.71, and possibly even a push up to 738.78. I think today's a big day for Tesla. I think they might print some calls today. And if they don't do it today and it just bleeds off down here, I will exit my position somewhere below, let's call it 709. Unless it's a straight rip down and comes back up, I'll exit my position and I'll re-enter once more at close. And I'm expecting that to bounce somewhere into close down here at 700. Either today or tomorrow, expect a big move up for Tesla. Last chart that I'll look at this morning is Robinhood. Being an IPO, there is no established trading history, no channels, nothing that you can really look at. You're very limited on the information that you have. You do know at some point, as it falls, we will eventually exhaust sellers, and the demand and buyers will step in. You do know that. You know there's demand down here at 37.96. You knew there was some demand down here between 43.58 and 46.01. There was also demand down here at 50.3, let's say. Between 50.3 and 54, 55. Now yesterday we had that large, sharp fishing expedition down here to see if we could fall farther, which we didn't. And that is important for this support line to hold. So the thing that you're looking for today is, can you break over this wall of sellers up here? If you cannot, it'll be a continued move downwards. Now these guys down here and these guys down here, they don't want to see this 50.53 break today. If there is a break in this today, you can expect more selling and somewhere down into this 46.01 and 43.58, and expect that to continue all the way down to 37.96. If you do break over this resistance line today, the next step for you would be to wait for this support to hold. You want to wait for all these sellers, the last one to get out, and then you could take this stock long once more and continue up. When you do take this stock up, either from this support, these supports, or this support, the one thing you have to consider is that there are still some more sellers hiding out up here. And the first place you'll see that is at 60.56. These are people that are diamond handing or saying, I'll wait for it to come back up to the number that I want to just get out. So you've got some of those people as well to worry about each step along the way. Now, if you're completely bullish on Robinhood, you think it's going to moon, you are definitely looking here for sellers, and you are definitely looking here for sellers without a doubt. Anything above this mark right here, you should expect some sideways movements to gain some momentum and then make one more move up. So my call for today would be, it's just hurry up and wait. You're waiting for people to stop selling in here. You're waiting for some form of support to be met, and then you're waiting for that next move up, and you're going to definitely find sellers at 60.34. Myself, if you have some charting software outside of Robinhood, I'll set some alerts down here at 45.90 or 46.01, 43.58, and 37, and just monitor it as time moves forward before taking a long position. As far as you know and I know, this is still coming down. My price target until we turn bullish is 37.96. For any of you still watching this video, I do appreciate all of the support the channel has received. Please like and subscribe. It does help me out. And if this is your first time watching this video, or if you haven't in the past, please feel free to reach out during normal trading hours on Twitter. I tend to be there and love to interact with any of you that are watching these videos. I am hosting a live stream on Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to chart out your favorite tickers. Please subscribe and hit the notification button. At some point today, I'll set a reminder on YouTube that will alert you when the live stream begins.